Joining me now with reaction to all of this, former acting U.S. Attorney General Matthew Whitaker. Always great to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight. You know, you see the video and the pictures of what happened in Atlanta, and you think about the fact that most of these people came from out of state. Some of them were from out of the country. Only 2 of them actually lived in the state. And you wonder to yourself how organized this was and why this particular center was targeted. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts, and it's good to be with you tonight, Jackie. I think, first of all, we need to appreciate that this is an organized group that travels causing chaos around our country. I would not be surprised if you did the work that these individuals were also in Washington, D.C. in the summer of 2020. They've been in places like Portland and Seattle where we've seen these other violent protests. And, you know, there is obviously a lot of protection for political speech and under the First Amendment. But once it resorts to violence, once it resorts to attacks on police using Molotov cocktails and professional fireworks, I think that's where obviously the line was crossed. And, you know, based on all the video that you're showing tonight, there's certainly more than 23 people that were participating. And the fact that they only arrested 23 suggests to me that they had a pretty good idea of who the main organizers and perpetrators were.
And the point that you make about where the line between protesting and rioting is really important because the Attorney General in Georgia clarified that. Let's listen.
All but 2 were from out of state, and 23 individuals have been charged with domestic terrorism. And if you are convicted, that is 5 to 35 years in prison. Protesters use words, rioters use violence.
So I'm glad to see that 23 individuals have been charged here. But having said that, you brought up past riots that we've seen across the country as well, where, you know, there weren't ramifications. Your thoughts on how we should be handling this? How also you secure the country to make sure that it doesn't continue to happen, because not only did they go after police in this particular case, but they also went after, you know, essentially the fire department. They were doing fire safety training there too. That's very dangerous.
It is incredibly dangerous, and I think these individuals need to be used as an example as to how we won't tolerate this. But the fundamental mistake that was made in this case is I would not allow these autonomous zones, these campgrounds of protesters to illegally be formed and then to build and organize and draw others to their cause to the point that you were saying earlier. I mean, most of these people were from out of state that were arrested. That suggests to me that this had been building over some period of time, and those camps should have been dispersed. I mean, I just don't think it's appropriate that this leads to, and you would expect that it would lead to, this type of violence. And I don't think it's over, unfortunately. I think for some reason this has become a lightning rod down there, and I think we're going to see now after this clash, I think we're going to see more of these situations.
So I think you're right, and I think in some regards they picked the wrong state for this particular incident. Having said that, when you look at what's happened across the country, there are those who believe that you've got these states where you've got the Soros-backed DAs, and they've basically backed off law and order. They don't want to prosecute crimes. They create an environment so that organized, you know, gatherings that become essentially lawless can go on, just like this one.
Yeah, we have these prosecutors in several metro areas, including St. Louis and Portland, and other places that are not prosecuting, you know, misdemeanors. They're causing law and disorder, and it's too bad. We need to fix that.
We sure do. We need to work on it. Matthew Whitaker, thank you so much for joining us. Always good to see you.
Thank you, Jackie. Great to see you.